we begin with this. Johor-born and now based in Yorkshire, ALISON WALKER has become one of Malaysia's top ultra-distance athletes. She holds our national record in the 24-hour event, 212 kilometers, which also stands as the best mark in Southeast Asia. She also holds the Malaysian records for the 100 kilometer at 9 hours and 10 minutes, the 50 kilometer at 4 hours and 8 minutes, and the 50-mile distance at 7 hours and 10 minutes. And in 2022, she won the 215-mile race across Scotland, one of Europe's toughest endurance challenges. But this past weekend in Bangkok, it was a night race. With a fall just 23 kilometers in, ALISON still pushed through more than 70 kilometers in pain and finished proudly for Malaysia. ALISON joins us from Bangkok. Hi, ALISON. Thanks for joining us. I'd like to begin with the race experience. Now, what was it like out there in Bangkok? 100 kilometers on the road. Take us into those hours on the course. We'd like to hear from you.
So yeah, it was a night race. So it started at 10 p.m., which was a bit interesting because like at 10 p.m. normally you're trying to go to sleep, but actually you got to run through the night. So I had to adjust my sleep patterns that day to try and be ready for the race. It was really nice. It's in a really quiet park, a really pretty part of Bangkok. The race atmosphere was electric, lots of people around, and also music, mama noodles, although we didn't take that during the race. So yeah, it was really nice. And it was really nice to be part of a Malaysian team representing Malaysia amongst other countries who sent bigger teams. So yeah, very honored to represent Malaysia in the Asia and Oceania Champs 100K.
But 23 kilometers in the falls, pushing through that 70 kilometers of pain, what's that like?
I guess it's different if you're racing for yourself and racing for your country. Normally, if I'm racing for myself, I'm normally quite selfish and I normally end the race there. But because I was wearing the Malaysian flag, flying the Malaysian colours, that I knew I just had to try and find a way to complete it. Basically, in this video, I was just jogging at my 24-hour pace just to get to the finish because I know that it's important to finish a championship race. Yeah, it might not be my best, but you know, it's glory for the country. And I think it's a team sport. And yeah, I really wanted to finish for the team.
Amazing. And we can see sort of like, you know, the pain that you're going through. Now, in ultra marathons, the time or placing isn't the full story. Now, what do you take away from a race like this beyond the numbers, though, ALISON?
So I think like no training's actually ever wasted. So I spent a lot of time because I now live in Yorkshire where it's like minus something degrees, and coming to a race like this hot, I normally go into a heat chamber. And, you know, when you go into a heat chamber, you also get lots of statistics analyzed, like my sweat rate, my sweat concentration. So, you know, all those things that I've learned will not go to waste. And special thanks to Leeds back at university for arranging all this and spending so much time with me. And I can use that for future race. And, you know, fifth in Asia and Oceania isn't a bad result. And, you know, it's Malaysia's second time appearing at any IAU race. So I think it's important to, you know, be there and be present and, you know, just make sure that our presence as Malaysia is felt at these championships.
Yeah, represent. Now, I'd like to now move into sort of training load and technical demands. You've prepared months for a race that lasts only hours. Now, what does a typical week look like for you? Mileage, strength work, recovery, to build a body that can endure 100 kilometers and beyond.
So I work full-time. I work in deals, M&A tax in Deloitte, and they've been really, really flexible with me in terms of taking time out to be in Malaysia to acclimate just before the race. So that's just the final finishing touches of the race. During the week, I run, you know, between 100 and 120 miles a week. I have a coach who's, you know, a GB international himself, you know, and a lot of it is listening to what I say, my feedback from my runs. But yeah, I normally run every day. I do 2 strength sessions each week. I also have a coach for that. And yeah, it's training isn't always glorious. Like it's never always smooth. But you know that it will just pay off in the end. So yeah.
Now that takes us obviously to the next question. If you could indulge me for a bit, I'd like to touch on the mental game. Where does your mind go in the toughest part, when fatigue hits or the pain or when the loneliness kicks in? What keeps you moving forward?
So I think different races have got different motivations, and I always set myself different goals. And to be honest, like I always in every race, I always do one mile at a time, and that's how I normally try and break it down. And when things get really tough, I tell myself, give myself another 10 minutes. You know, give myself 10 minutes in this pain, and if it doesn't settle, okay, maybe consider quitting. But normally within those 10 minutes, you know, sometimes I sing aloud to numb the pain. And then, you know, you just keep continuing. But sometimes, you know, it's just not your day, and that's fine. This is not our full-time jobs. And, you know, running is supposed to be therapy, supposed to be enjoyable. So, you know, sometimes you can allow yourself to quit. But sometimes, you know, when it really matters, like this weekend, yeah, you just have to really dig really deep. Yeah.
I understand. You know, some people find it sort of therapeutic and joyful. I guess for me, that's a little bit of pain. I go up the stairs and I'm dying, so I can't imagine how you guys do 100 kilometers through pain, through that whatever sort of like challenges, that mental sort of blocks. That will eventually. But I like what you said about, you know, give yourself a little bit of time, 1 kilometer at a time. You know, the next 10 minutes, sort of like the next small goals, bite size, something that's easy for you to be able to, you know, get across. Now, of course, representing Malaysia abroad, you live and train in the UK, but you race with the Malaysia flag on your chest. What does it mean to you to wear our colours on an international start line so far from home?
So I think it's, you know, I mean, usually you don't really see that many Malaysians on the international stage. I've raced overseas many times. I've raced in Finland this year, Amsterdam, you know, France, Hungary. You know, it's really good to, you know, represent your country, especially if you're underrepresented. And, you know, I might not be the best runner in the whole world, but, you know, I think it's just really good awareness. And, you know, whenever I raise the flag, you know, it's pride. It's pride from where I come from, how I was brought up. You know, I didn't grow up from a really sporty family. Like, I used my hobbies used to be, you know, being part of a choir. So very, very different to running. So, you know, it's being proud of, you know, the Asian culture, Malaysian culture, you know, just really, really proud to show that I'm from Malaysia. And yeah,
and it's beautiful. I think we'd like to be able to stand and support, and that's your way of representing, your way of showing up, your way of being seen that, you know, we are here, we're on a stage, and we matter as well, and we can stand on our own. Now, Malaysia has seen the running culture grow exponentially, locally as well. Now, I'd like to get your thoughts, advice for everyday runners. Many people in their 30s and 40s dream of running further and farther, but worry about injuries or joint stress. Now, what's your best advice for staying strong and running smart?
so I think it's, you know, making sure that when you're increasing mileage, to increase it slowly and safely, and also just making sure that, you know, you get the right advice from people. Try not to listen too much to influencers, and, you know, just kind of be smart about it. And when people say something, don't just take it at face value. Always investigate it. Ask about the science behind it. You know, so don't just take everything you see on social media as truth. So whenever people tell me about supplements, I ask them, is it peer reviewed? Have you got the paper, the journal supporting what they're claiming to say they're going to achieve? And if not, then, you know, think about it before you spend money on things. But yeah, you know, strength work is really important. But, you know, I really encourage people to, you know, just go out and be active, because it's better than staying on the couch. And, you know, Malaysia's got such good food. You've got to, yeah, you've got to balance a bit. So
No, this is true. Yeah, we have amazing food, and we need to find an outlet for us to sort of like work that out. But I think what you mentioned earlier as well is very important. It's just that, like, you know, going to the gym, you have trainers, but I've always been told that you need to listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to what you can achieve, and go slowly and don't go too much. And I think that's essentially it. You know, listening, whether it's to other people, but also to yourself. Now, you've carried Malaysia over every kilometer this weekend. What do you want Malaysians and the world to understand about who we are through the way you run?
Oh, this is a hard one. So I think just know that Malaysians are resilient. We don't give up. And even if we don't bring our A game, at some point we will. And yeah, we are slowly building the competitive ultra running scene in Malaysia through the help of NOOR, and you know, with advice from people in the IAU as well. So yeah, it's still in its infancy, but we will get there. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I really liked how we ended this with you highlighting the resilience with, you know, whatever that you went through during the run itself, that we're not quitters. We will never give up. We'll run every mile until the finish line because we're proud of who we represent. Thank you so much, Alison, for sharing your thoughts, and good luck for all your subsequent runs, and fly Malaysia's flag proud. Thank you so much. Alison Walker, Malaysia's ultra runner, joining us from Bangkok, Thailand.